Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're talking about upcoming decks. So these are some decks that I'm either excited for coming up shortly or in the next month or two. These are both decks from Terminal Revenge, Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge, and Infinite Forbidden, both of which are going to shake up the meta a decent amount, I think. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. So the first deck that I'm pretty confident will do well is Yubel, also known as Fiend Link. The Yubel cards are really powerful, really pushed. They're already getting tops now, even in the midst of Snake Eyes format, and they're getting some really great support. Along with that, they pair really well with the Unchained cards. Just being able to set up multiple layers of interaction is really powerful. The main draw of the Yubel cards is that Super Poly is so strong into so many different decks, and the fact that Yubel the Loving Defender is just Yubel +1 effect monster on the field means that you can usually just clear your opponent's entire field and you don't have to deal with it. If you were going to pick up this deck now, obviously other than the Yubel cards that are already released and maybe the Unchained cards, well, for sure the Unchained cards, luckily Soul of Rage just got reprinted in Rarity Collection 2, so that's not super expensive. It is just the 1 or maybe 2 copies of Soul Lord of Yama that you'll need, and as well the Unchained Soul of Anguish, the red link. The other cards that I'd recommend you pick up are probably Dark Beckoning Beast. We know that Yama, as well as the Duelist Nexus Unchained card, so Shirava, Sarama, stuff like that, is going to be reprinted in the tins. Dark Beckoning Beast is not guaranteed to be reprinted. Its last printing was in the Mega Pack 21. It's already up a decent amount in value, so I would recommend you go ahead and pick these up if you're interested in playing Yubel or Fiend Link. Up next is Ritual Beast. This is a deck that Zach has been very excited about, so I have to give it some credit. This deck was really powerful back when it first came out. Ulti-Canna Hawk Loops are just as powerful now as they were back then. Infinite Material just gets better and better. The main draws of this deck are Dimension Shifter and Protoss. This is a deck that can really easily play with Dimension Shifter, and because you could make so much material, you can easily get a Infernal Flame Banshee into Nemesis Flag into Protoss. This deck, you really don't have to pick up much other than maybe the Protoss, because with Battles Legend Terminal Revenge, there's a good chance that all of the Ritual Beast support is going to be reprinted. I would think that if they don't reprint pretty much everything, it's kind of a big loss. So it's like you can pick up the Ritual Beast cards now. They're not super expensive, but I think you're safe waiting until the Ritual Beast support comes out here in just a couple of weeks in Battles Legend Terminal Revenge. Another deck that is getting support in Terminal Revenge is Ice Barriers. This is a deck that I really think is just funny. This is basically the Floodgate deck of the format. If Ritual Beast is the shifter deck of the next format, this is going to be the Floodgate deck of the upcoming format, because every single Ice Barrier monster is pretty much just a Floodgate. For example, George's here, I believe, is Anti-Spell or Dweller or something. I forget, but I remember all of the few cards that Ice Barrier is getting. They're all really powerful. And some cards that you might think of is Swap Frog. Swap Frog's really good because it lets you send the Mirror Magic Master, which is level 2 Aqua. So getting that in the graveyard is really strong. And then also Runic. The Runic pairs really well with these cards. The main downside of this deck going forward is that we did lose Baron. That was kind of a big thing that we wanted. Now we can't play around Nibiru as easily, but oftentimes we can just end on the Dragonic Spirit of Ice Mountain, the new Synchro 10 that we're getting. That's usually enough. And the Runic cards pair really well with that for giving us Synchro Material and Fogger Tribute with the Mirror Master. So yeah, this is a deck that I'm really excited for. I will probably be picking up this deck. Even if I don't end up playing it, I'll probably be picking it up. Up next is Valmonica. This is another deck that I'm really excited about. They have gotten some tops, not nearly as many as other decks in this format. And obviously the other decks from Valiant Smashers like Memento and what was the other one? I forget. They have they're primed to be even better than Valmonica. The difference is that Valmonica is getting just as good of support as Memento is, and I think not enough people are looking at it. So Settle Trice Valmonica, which appeared in Legacy of Destruction, the set that's just released, or the core set that's current, it's a really powerful card. It gets you pen scales, it gets you Valmonica cards, it just sets up your entire Valmonica combo on its own. And the advantage of this deck is that it is pretty generic. There's not a lot of locks. I believe they lock you out of activating non-Valmonica monster effects for the rest of the turn. I'd have to double check that. But you can, Live Twin here is just kind of a representation that you can mix and match this with a lot. Just stuff that, you know, even if it doesn't have activated effects, still does stuff on your next turn. Things like Apollousa or Bagooska, Dweller, etc., etc. But the cool thing about this deck is that you can, all of your link 1s are generic. You just have to have the Valmonica counters. So you can actually link an IP Masquerena into a link 1, that way it gets the protection. And if you guys haven't read the new Valmonica Link 2, I don't have it up here, but it's a really powerful card. It's towers, it is multiple attacks, and it's a warning on legs. It's a really strong card, and I think that people aren't giving it nearly as much credit as they should. Next we have Fiendsmith. So this is just a deck that fully is like Adventure Engine 2.0. This is not a deck in and of itself per se. This is going to be more of an engine, but it is a pretty powerful engine. If you guys haven't looked into what Fiendsmith does, I recommend you watching a couple explanation videos that are going to go way more in depth than I can here. But the important part to note is if you get to a light fiend, you have the full Fiendsmith combo. And I believe Moon of the Closed Sky is a card that's going to be released in Infinite Forbidden along with the Fiendsmith cards. And this is a generic link to light fiend. So any 2 monsters gets you to full Fiendsmith combo. So this is basically just kind of Verte number 2. And so yeah, so this is a really powerful engine. The thing that I do want to mention here is White Dust On. People have asked me about this, and I do have to tell you, this is cope. This is not a good card. There's dozens and dozens of better ways you can play the Fiendsmith cards than Draconet Summon White Dust On. Sure, it is a thing you can do, but I think that there's a lot better things that you can play to incorporate the Fiendsmith cards. And then finally, we have Lightwoods. This is a deck that was crafted by Joshua Schmidt in a lab to be the perfect Runic deck. There's absolutely nothing that this deck can't do that it wouldn't do better with Runics. This deck is a really powerful like synchro deck. It pairs perfectly with Runics and Bystials and so many other cards. It's a very generic deck. I don't think there was a lot of locks on these cards. I would have to double check them, but it is a deck that I know a lot of people are excited about. They were excited about, and the hype just really quickly died down. I don't know if that's people waiting until the cards release, or they're not sure about them or whatnot, but I think this is definitely a deck to keep your eyes out on. And if you end up pulling some of the definite secret rare cards, I think you might make a little bit of money off of them. And that is it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment, tell me what you guys what you guys are excited for in the upcoming sets. I think the deck that I'm most excited about is Ice Barriers, although if I'm going to be playing anything from the list that I gave you, it'd probably be like Valmonica or something like that. I just think the Valmonica cards are pretty cool, even if they're weaker than stuff like Memento and Snake Eyes. But yeah, that is all from me. If you guys really enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!